Well, hello and welcome. This is a behind the scenes of a image I made. It's actually a asset because I'm planning to make a different image and it's going to be animated, and I wanted to make some scrolling clouds, and then I looked back on this and thought, okay, this could work as its own standalone image, which is surprising. So I ended up adding the water and eventually the stars in the background here, then the moon, which was really difficult to make actually. You can see up close, it's still hard to sort of see. Like, it's just really complicated. I have to use the same brushes for this as well. Yeah, some bits I can erase, like the droplets, which was annoying. And it took a while to make. Also, I had to add some darkness so it actually had an outline. And I did the water, which I've always done this way. It looks okay. It's not amazing. I use the noise brush to add the colour, because it adds this extra level of detail to the water because it like blends in. You don't really notice it until you're really up close, and it just works. Also, you have the gradient effect going on, and the water stain brush thing. You just notice some transparency there. That's not right. I have to fix that in post. Right side there, transparency question mark. And then I've got like the sandy beach, but I'll work on this later. It's really complicated. I haven't even made anything decent with it yet, so I won't talk about it. Also, reflections I've added on the water, sparkles as well for a little extra detail. Yeah, it's an interesting image, and there isn't really much to say on it, but I think I will show you how exactly I achieve something like this, and also what sort of things there are. So let's remove the beach. Oh, sorry, that land. Why have I got the beach there? I'm gonna use it. So yeah, without it, you've got this essentially. The reason it's widescreen obviously is because of the animation that I'm going to make. It's going to be scrolling clouds, and you can see in the by the file name, that's what it's going to be. I also added some green here because obviously there'll be land, and it gets greener with land or sand, whatever you use, whatever. And I'll explain my process in a bit. But for making clouds this accurate, there's one tip I can give. Use a reference. Now I've got multiple, but this large image was my reference for this, and I also referred to this for like the waves and stuff, which you'll see on the sand when I finish it. What else have we got, because that's covering it. Yeah, we've got the sky image, got the moon, got the reflection. I wanted to look at the reflection and see what that looked like. It's kind of like a blurry thing. Blur effect, so I looked for this for distant, sort of what they look like, what waves look like from a distance. That's really all there is to that, but the clouds were really interesting because you could probably see it now, but I essentially copied these clouds. So if I were to put this behind everything else, you'd see the clouds reflect off of that. So you can sort of see a similarity. I have shifted the clouds, so it does look a little different. Trying to put them in place. But I did add some clouds after the fact, I think. Is that the orange? No. Maybe a bit back. Wait. Oh, the images. Okay. Wait, did I seriously cut off the image? I think I did. Okay, that's weird. Anyway, you can sort of get the idea that I used this as a reference image, and it helped me basically trace over and make some of these clouds. Like, I didn't know how to make these before, but thanks to the image, I managed to make these like separated clouds. And it's also sort of taught me how to make those stringy clouds or line clouds, whatever you call them, really long ones here. They turned out really good. In my opinion, it's the best clouds I've ever made. This effect I got by doing two sets of clouds. I can actually show you the layers. I've got multiple here. I sort of showed more of the process. What's the sea there? That's the sea. This is clouds, okay. So I've got the blowy clouds first. So these are like background drops, like extra detail. Fairly simple to make, just random bullshit go. There's nothing really special there. But then I added the first set of clouds, and they're unfortunately cut out. I do have a copy somewhere, I think it's in backup. Yeah, it's in backup. But I might as well show those actually, because the backup will be more accurate. If they're there, for some reason there's missing some. Oh, backup final. Of course, yeah, I keep backing them up as I go along just in case, because you never know. So yeah, this is what they actually look like, I think. Oh, so it's not right. Oh, that's because that's. Yeah, this is what the first layer looks like. There's no transparency for now, at least make it less prominent. Yeah. Studio Paint, garbage again. Yeah, this is what it looks like basically. It's pretty simple, but these are like more accurate looking clouds, I guess. More fluffy and less jagged like the other ones. You can see I've referenced the things obviously. Do a tutorial after this obviously. Then you've got the second set of clouds. These tend to have more jagged edges, I added them after. It adds extra detail, which when layered actually makes it look really good. Yeah, and I used a fingertip blur tool to blur these clouds and make them look like this. I don't remember if it's background clouds. So yeah, it just looks really interesting. It looks pretty accurate. You might wonder how I got the effects from this, basically making it blend with the colour in the background, even if I move it. It's very simple actually. You should just do a separate layer for it. So if I turn these on, you can see that I've already highlighted areas I wanted to cut out, so do it first too. I can't remember if I shifted these, I might have. It should be alright. But because I have a drawing tablet and the pen pressure, it helps to create this effect of depth. So if I were to remove the background, for example, and sorry for your eyes, you could see that it's all sort of blue. And the reason why that is because when you use this as a stencil, for example, I highlight it, highlight the gradient, have the raw clouds there, and then delete, the clouds suddenly become more transparent. Just allows it to blend in with the background, and obviously I've done it too much there. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Okay, that was unexpected. Sure, but going back, like, that's how they look like this. That's how they stand out. And the brush technique is something more complicated, but it's the same thing. And it's the same here. I didn't really do anything for the blur clouds because I didn't really need anything. The other important thing to note is the background here. Without the sea, there will be a bit of transparency there, but you can see this is just brush strokes rather than an actual gradient. Where's the stars showing? I'll move that in the moon. Oh, that's not right. Oh, that's why. There you go. So yeah, these are brush strokes because Gaussian blur doesn't do much. So I ended up using the soft brush from the airbrush options and going over this with 3 different colours, or 4 actually, including the white. The white's useful for distance. A lot of photography and images you'll see with distance, especially over the sea, has this white sort of background. I think you can see it in the references. You can sort of see it there. They have this like white in the background. It's not very visible here, it's because the sun's in the other direction. It's more visible when there's like sunlight around it. Where is it? Trying to find the one I just used. It was just all clouds. I don't know where that's gone. Yeah, anyway, like, that's how you do that really, and also like there's a layer of light blue as well. So that sort of blends in with the white. It's sort of like a gradient, and where the sun is, the sun will be here. I haven't actually done the sun yet, I forgot about that. I have to add that to sun, question mark. You'd have to do that too, and I imagine if you change the colour as well, it would be the same thing, you do like different colours. So if it was like sunset, you do something like yellow here, orange in the middle, and probably like red, pink or purple, like multiple even. You could do as many as you want in the corner. And the bottom bit here would be orange. Oops, playing a game in the background. Yeah, it'd be the same, and you also have the white, but I think it'd be a bit more orange actually to fit in. I'll experiment with that later, but I don't know. It's not too complicated when you understand what it is. One of the things that's really off-putting with making artwork is just the amount of time it takes, and you really need patience for this. And you can't really rush it either. That's another annoyance with this. So it just takes a lot of time, and there's no really easy way to sort of do it. It all comes together eventually. Yeah, so I can fix the background actually. Just do a white thing. I think I removed it actually, that's why that happened. It's easy. Yeah, that fixed it. Yeah, the other thing with the sea is I did some, what is it? So I don't know what's happened there, it's like, the sea sort of parted. Maybe my brush stroke accidentally went over it. That's weird. Move that and write that down. Sea parted? Question mark, exclamation mark. It's not hard, and I'll just show you how to do. I'll do like I always do. So I've got a blank image here. Do airbrush and soft for the back image. I won't do the white bit because just do the sky for now. The sun's coming from the right. Also doing it in the wrong layer, so I've got to fix that. I'll change the colour, do a slightly more blue. I don't want to do too much because that will mess it up. I could do it a lot here because it's fine, that's where it sort of blends in. You have to go over this multiple times if it does end up looking like this. I've got pen pressure on, I think, so I can open it, yep. And that does help a lot. But you do like a curve as well because of the sun being in the corner, or up here maybe. Really depends, but I won't have the dark blue as prominent as it is here. What's happened there? Pseudo paint is just weird sometimes. So I'll just go over it a few times and lightly this time, that way it just does that. I'll go over it again with light blue. I'll also go back over this because it's got a bit brighter. It's also about keeping track of the colours to an extent, making a palette. It's almost done. Just this bottom bit, could just do like a curve. And it's sort of about motion, it's almost like Bob Ross painting, I guess. Not quite, I could go back again because I need to sort of fix the blue sort of dominance there. But it doesn't really matter if you're adding loads of clouds, it just needs to be a simple gradient. Because from a distance you'll notice it. Let's go back here. Yeah, it looks decent. It's not amazing, but it'll do. But then the important part, drawing the clouds. I'll put it to white because it's easiest. You could do colouring later on if you need to. I have the PF Cloud brush. I don't know who made this PP Cloud brush. I've got to call it PP Cloud. I use a soft brush mainly, and I don't tend to use air pressure because it's pen pressure, because it's the basic layer. Sometimes you can use like a pen brush, but I use the airbrush, and if you want it solid you can actually actually duplicate the layer so it sort of stacks on. So like, oh, it's too light around here. That's simple. Duplicate again. And eventually you'll just have enough to make it solid. There are probably other ways, like maybe you could just highlight it and yeah, like fill constantly. There you go. It does look a bit weird, but it's actually because I made a mistake here. The actual way I draw it, and this is how everyone should do it anyway to begin with, is by a simple like plops, like make it look like poop or something. Let's just do a basic one like this. Like a little leg here on the side. Now as it goes, smaller brush. Again, knowing your hotkeys can also help with this. That's sort of how I've managed mine so easily, and then back again. Because of pen pressure, I can also do those effects. And for these edges, you don't need to worry about this yet. This is interesting, but I'll go back to the PP Cloud brush. Because Clip Studio Paint has this alpha thing in the corner here. You can do this sort of thing. It basically allows you to add some texture to it. I think my pen pressure is a bit too high for some reason at the moment, so it's not looking the best, but it works. It's because of the small resolution, I think. I was using a really high resolution for that first image. Yeah, like things like that, you don't need to cut off everything. That's sort of a bad thing to do. Like, you keep some of these lumps here. And from a distance, it actually looks pretty decent. And you don't really need to worry about the rest of the outlines. The only thing I'll do here is like fix this, maybe add another lump, just in case, and it sort of works out in the end. And stop these jagged edges. If you're doing this with individual clouds and multiple, you don't really need to. Like the image, like you don't need to do it for these top ones. You can probably see where there's like triangles and stuff. So once you've done that, let's go fix this. Next comes the detail, and also repair if you haven't already. For the detail part, it's the same as before. But what I do is I highlight the cloud itself, go back to the airbrush PP cloud, and I'll choose a colour that I've got. I don't know, you could do it any colour really. Let's try pink maybe, but I prefer doing blue because it gives you an idea of what it might look like. And when I do this, I make sure to have the white brush option as well. So I'll go over it. For some reason the pen brush isn't working anymore. That's because I turned it off. That's why. Makes sense. That's why it looks a bit weird. So yeah, I'll just go over it a few times and I'll show you how to stack it as well. I shouldn't need to show the line ones as well, because that's just fingertips blurring. So yeah, just make it blue and make sure the dark sides are actually dark, because they will not need to show up as much anyway. You can have them with an outline, but it doesn't look as good. And then what I'll do is, once I'm done with that, I should make it a bit darker on the edges too. I'll go over it again, but this time with the alpha section, and sort of gently go over the edges here so it gives a outline of the light. So go back in the background here, switch back to make this a bit darker, and let it go back over it with alpha. And it's just a repeating of this process, but then for stacking it, actually I could show what it looks like now. So that's a basic cloud. So if I want to make it blend in, it's like the cloud detail here in the corner of the S layer. Just red that one. Delete. And then it's pretty much ready. There's a slight outline, but it does work. But if you were doing clouds like this big, you wouldn't do it this high. I was only showing this as a demonstration for stack clouds, a stack being when you have multiple inside them. So let's go back and do the same thing, highlight the cloud, but this time you do the same thing but with the white brush, and you go over it again. You can also change the size. Just go over it again. All the way back here. I think it's a paintbrush, isn't it? Okay, that's weird. Maybe it's just because it's a brighter white. Then you do the blue again over it, and it just creates a stacking effect. It takes practice for sure. It's not easily done. There's no trick to this. I do get fed up of when artists use like blurry clouds and call them clouds, but they're not, it's just blurs. Yeah, that's like the gist of it. I'll go over with a smaller brush actually, that might be better here. You can also do things like this where it just sticks out a bit. You got like little clouds there, and you go back and add some depth. A lot of back and forth. That's really the trick to this. Especially when you look at clouds in real life, they have this effect, and you can also do the same up here again. So there's like an actual shadow being cast from a certain angle. And then you start to see the stack effects go on. I would remove more here actually. Doing circular motions I think is probably the best way to do it. Unless you're front facing, then you just invert this. Like, there's probably a way to invert it. Let's do the same. Like, select, delete. There you go. The clouds are kind of stacked. I don't really know how to do the shape other than references, and also you can post edit this sort of thing. Do it with the same brush actually. And it sort of works. Like, that's really the gist of it. It's like a genius way to do it because it means so cutting this bit at the end, it means that you blend it in and it looks so vibrant. The problem with real life clouds, what the fuck? The problem with real life clouds is not, why am I even talking about this? They have a greyness to them when you look at them, and it just looks so depressing and incomplete. And one of the things I never like seeing in clouds anyway, being in the UK, is when they're just so dark. It's just unpleasant. I do not want to see dark clouds ever. But we have to face it on a daily basis, unfortunately. So, instead of drawing them that way, I ended up doing it in a way where, as you can see here, it blends in colour. It looks far better, it looks more anime. Which is kind of my inspiration for clouds anyway, for making these like this. As its image nature, in that sense. I'll just do another layer to talk. Anime is very good at making things very vibrant and detailed in some areas anyway. Especially in some backgrounds. Like Studio Ghibli is a massive inspiration for me. I don't follow the style like, I don't know what you call it. I don't follow it completely. Obviously made my own as a result of it actually. Trying to follow it. But it is inspiring when you look at these different background artists, and especially for like AI driven shit, which I don't agree with at all. It's really impressive how they make some of this stuff, but I still need to figure out how to make proper landscapes and buildings, for example. Like buildings are an important one. I do have other images where I've attempted buildings and it's not turned out as great. Yeah, like this is the way I do clouds. It's the way I do my backgrounds. And it's important to know as well, finding your style is to do with who inspires you and what inspires you. Because one of the biggest problems and big roadblocks for me when looking at anime backgrounds and thinking, yeah, I want to do that, was finding who to be inspired by or what, for that matter. And I just ended up following instead just a bunch of random images I really liked, and looking at what they did, I found anime images where they had like these big is it homunculus clouds, the ones with the nipple on it. Where is it? Like this, or actually this one. No, that's not there. There, like this. Although mine's not as good. It's like those sort of inspired me to make proper clouds, because I used to do the blurring technique as well, but it didn't work out very well, and I just wasn't happy with it at all. So finding your inspiration and trying to copy that is a good way to find your own style, because you might find something better, you can even improve upon it. That's sort of the magical thing about being inspired. You end up making great discoveries completely by accident usually, and that's what leads you down to that sort of thing, and it's quite a universal trick as well, or tip even, because everyone can use it for anything: acting, music, trying to think what other sort of arts there are. Writing, there is definitely something for that. That's just what you're inspired by. I'm also inspired by nature, channeled to nature. Uh, that's why I make a lot of landscapes, and that's why I specialise in it. And you know, when I go into games as well, like Final Fantasy XIV you saw earlier, so I'm blown away by how some of the landscapes look. Genuinely impressive, and also do like this thing, this meme that I've made up. I do a cloud check, because clouds are just blurs, like World of Warcraft had. Embarrassing, like literally, it's just so bad. It's just they annoy me. Like, you've got paid artists and you're not actually doing the minimum of making decent clouds with those artists. Like, come on. Like, even Red Dead Redemption 2 has amazing clouds, and that came out around the same time as like Battlefield. No, Battle for Azeroth. I get those confused. Battlefield's always been out. Yeah, sort of my cloud tutorials, I do more like cutting here sort of thing. So it's just less sort of identifiable, like seeing the curves and stuff. You can do it here too. It just works. That's what's fascinating about this technique, and I need to fix that somehow. Yeah, so if it's helped people, just gave some people some insight how to make clouds, try and timestamp this. So people can just go to the tutorial if needed, but that's the gist of it really. It's kind of hard to make mistakes on this anyway. It's like such a solid technique. It just works, and showing that you can move it, it changes colour. That works, and if I were to do some sort of sunset thing somehow, if I can somehow not embarrass myself with this. No. Okay, maybe I'll call it with that for the moment anyway. This might be a gradient actually. I've got my own sort of gradient, so it works like that. So this is another thing that changes colour. That's why it looks so good. And from a distance it looks even better. But clouds are always a distant thing, that's the important thing to note. It's never about how they look up close, it's about how you see them from a distance. Just a pretty important tip in my opinion. Do rainbow. I wasn't doing that. It's one of the annoying things with Clip Studio Paint. It just does weird things. So like, yeah. It just works. Yes, that's all I say on that. Thanks for watching. See people another time. Hope it's helped.